Aloha and good morning. Today's mini lecture is a question that you may want to ponder upon. And this is a question that you really have to think about for a while, just because it's a good question. Okay, so the question is, do you live to eat, or do you eat to live? That's a hard question for most people even to think about. Do you live to eat, or do you eat to live? These are hard concepts for most people just because they have no idea if they eat to live that they're actually practicing something that's very special and naturalistic. And if you live to eat, it just means that there's something inside of us that wants us to live just to eat. And that's a lot of people's lives right now. They live to eat. So let's talk about that for a sec. There's a lot of good concepts, disciplines, and understandings for you to be able to learn. What I call terrain modification is so you can get back your life in a way that would be more of your life than you've ever had in your life, which is a pretty good concept, but most people, remember, only know what they know. They really have not actually felt who they are or have seen who they are. Why? Is because most of us have been living to eat. How do you think you become diabetic? Just because you're cursed? Okay, you live to eat. Get diabetic, it's only because most likely that you're overweight. And or if you're overweight now, then in time when you are, well, we call obese, 100 million people in the United States are obese. So this type of information, you have to really put upon yourself. No one's bagging on you if you're one of the obese 100 million people. Nobody's belittling you if you're one of the 100 million diabetics, 50 million people taking antidepressants, millions of people a day taking antibiotics, destroying their gut wall flora. And the best part is they're not even regrowing some of the essential bacteria that the body needs to be able to, eat to live. So again, the question is, do you eat to live, or do you live to eat? And if you eat to live, it's only because that your body's yeast, mold, fungus, candida, and all different types of parasites that call us to feed. See, once you understand the psychology of parasites, you'll not want to eat things that are loaded full of them. So you'll notice that a lot of times when you eat a big meal, you'll be indigestional, you'll be tired, you'll feel sort of sedated, okay? And why do we get those feelings? Okay, why do we get the feelings after we eat? We should have our bodies and our minds full of energy, full of charisma, full of movement. Okay, why doesn't that happen when we eat a big meal? So the idea is that once you find out, remember, once you are in the mode of living to eat, then you'll find out that your parasites are under control. What kind of parasites? What kind of viruses? What kind of mycobacteria? What kind of fungus? All these different things that realistically are feeding upon the foods that we eat and or within ourselves, feeding off of us. So it's very important to understand the 30 departments of terrain modification so you can actually get to the profound layer. It's called eating to live. And you don't need to eat much, to tell you the truth. Okay, I eat one meal a day. It's taken me a little while to be able to calm down my parasitic load, my microbial load, and we're not talking the good microbial load, we're talking the pathogenic ones, the ones that don't serve us. Remember, the definition of a parasite is very simple. It's elusive and unknown to the host, but better yet, there is no benefit to the host whatsoever. So if you take your clothes off, and everybody can by yourselves, okay, no one's looking at you, and give yourself a body examination and look and see if you've got skin that is not transparent, it's not see-through, okay, it's very thick, the muscles are very tight and sore, and if you do have muscles, well, they're usually, well, in time you'll see, they're not what you're going to find out them to be once you change your whole world. Remember, the muscles, ligaments, tendons, nerves, the whole body works in a harmonic functionality. It works in an equanimity. It works together. The mitochondria produce energy, so we need to feed our body energy. So that's why I like to use creatine. Okay, I don't eat flesh anymore. Well, and there's two reasons why you wouldn't eat flesh. I stopped eating it in the beginning because I found out it was loaded full of parasites, studying parasitology. All flesh, okay, is loaded full of parasites, especially those that are vaccinated. We're not talking healthy animals. I'm talking grass-fed. I'm talking, agricultural, commercially grown food. All of it has been given hormones, antibiotics, vaccines, and what's in the vaccines? You'll find out that the vaccines are loaded full of viruses, very small, animals, creatures. They're very small. So small that they're not detectable through a microscope. That's why they're viruses. So small that they could actually, they can go through the lining of a condom. So small that, a tick can give you this layer of virus. Lyme's disease, all these different types of autoimmune diseases, they're all part of what I call poisoned by your own doing. Remember, you got to be smart in this world. You got to be conscious and aware. Just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean you have to do it yourself. You just don't. But then again, you don't know that you're in power of all your own actions, do you? At least what you put in your mouth. No one's asking you to drink soda. No one's asking you to poison yourself with processed junk foods. No one's asking you to eat every 2 hours or whenever something inside your body calls you to feed. Do you really think that you need all that food? And if you do, look in the mirror, take your clothes off, and look and see that you've most likely been living to eat. If you can't see your stomach muscles, then, you've put on some toxicity, contamination, and now you've got a load of microbes that are parasitic, that live in the heavy metals. They live behind the heavy metals. They hide behind the heavy metals. So it's so important to be able to really cut down your caloric intake, cut down your food that you put in your body. We do 21-day terrain modification, advanced detoxification and rejuvenation retreats in Hawaii. We've had probably about 100 people so far come through our facility, staying up to 3 months and getting fantastic results. Fantastic. By going into ketogenesis, which is really where your body starts to feed upon itself because it doesn't have any internal fuel to fire its pistons. Okay, so what does it do? It needs fuel, so it doesn't have glucose because you're not going to have any food for at least a week, distilled dry water. You're going to rest. You're going to feel everything inside you that wants you to feed them. Okay, remember, it's not that you need the food. We just had somebody leave here that has Lyme's disease, and she fasted for 31 days. That's very heroic, and dried herself out. Dried. did a large sequence of advanced IV therapies, EDTA, chelation, alpha-lipoic acid, high-potency vitamin C, glutathione, H2O2 drips. Okay, these are all things that massively help clean out the system of either toxicity or baggage that I call that are hanging in the heavy metals. Most people, after they do this protocol, have been freed from the prison that they don't even know they're under, which is feeding yourself all the time. All the time. So, to take back your power, it means to be able to really lower your heavy metal toxicity load, get your body's flow going. That's why the skin cleaning protocols on Earther Academy are so important for people to learn. We've probably got 35 videos in the sauna series on showing you all different, not only techniques, protocols, just different disciplines, using different tools, different ways for you to open up the skin pores and let the, as I call, pore pus out. And there's lots of videos on Earther Academy to show you the stuff that comes out of people's skin. Wow. And it's amazing to me each time that I actually show people this, is because so much stuff comes out of your skin when you're ready, when you've done the protocols, when you've done the homework, when you've put in the effort, when you've really, changed your ways by becoming more aware. And becoming more aware means that you're growing. And you will have to change things, as I call, change for the good. Upgrade, enhance, or optimize. What's wrong with that? So we have all these tools that are very helpful on earthshiftproducts.com. The tools that are there are very essential for people, and if you don't think you need them, then don't get them. All I know is we only opened up the company. We don't make any money, let me tell you. Family lets us do this business, okay? It is being fed by other businesses, so we can keep on going here and having this one-stop shop for beginners, intermediates, and advanced to get a lot of your tools, okay? A lot of tools. And that could be because, because you're in a variety, just like a carpenter. If you're a carpenter, then you need a variety of tools to be able to be a carpenter. And if you want to do detoxification and rejuvenation, yes, you do need tools. Yes, you do need certain advanced agents that really support and help remove toxicity in a massive way. It just does. So we can talk about, again, all these different types of ideas that have to do with you really just cleaning up your food intake, your liquid intake, your terrain around your house, your terrain in your bathroom, okay? All the different poisons that we all ingest. So flesh, remember, is full of viruses. Why? Because they all have vaccines. All chickens, fish, farm fresh fish, really. You should see what they feed them. You wouldn't want to eat them if you knew what they were feeding them and giving them. Hormones, antibiotics, vaccines. Remember, chickens grow massively quick, massively, okay, when they're given hormones. I know what it takes to grow a chicken, and chickens grow pretty mediumly fast. But when you give them hormones and you give them all different types of things that will actually cause their cellular structure to grow at rates that normal animals, fish, birds, or anything can grow. When you eat these foods, you're just transferring whatever's in the flesh into your flesh, no matter what. So you have to really be aware of that. Eating flesh, remember, has also other attributes that are negative. So what are the negative attributes of eating flesh? Well, as you become more aware, you find out you don't have to really kill anything anymore to stay alive. As far as another animal, another being that is like us, that has the five sense activation: eyes, nose, mouth, ears, okay, sensing, touching. We as a species have this thing called the neocortex. And the neocortex, of course, is a layer of higher intelligence. It is a layer of deeper awareness. The animals don't have neocortexes. That's why they do what they do for survival. We do. And as we grow up from neonatals, okay, to activating the neocortex, which is this front part of the upper part of the brain, and connecting in the left and right hemispheres and making them so they can actually communicate with one another, then you really find out that now you start to see. Now you are active in ways that your mind can actually discriminate what it couldn't possibly understand before. And there's nothing to say. There's no judgment that I'm giving people, but isn't it, if you could wake up in the morning and know that you don't have to kill anything to stay alive? Those are the moral issues of that. But let's just go back to scientific. All the flesh that you're eating is contaminated. Okay? If you don't think it is, you should see the way they wash it because of the contamination of all the feces and all the tumors that they cut out of all the meat. Mike from New York stayed here, and he was a butcher for the last 20 years or so. And he, as all other butchers, cut out tumors daily out of animals. And see a lot of sick animals all the time, and that's just what they do. Okay? And he can't believe that anybody would want to eat this animal, especially it had a tumor in it, especially it was dysfunctional. Okay? So, this is something that if you're really trying to become aware, then eating flesh that's just commercially grown is a huge mistake. Do your homework. I don't have to tell you this. These aren't my opinions. This is the truth. These are the facts. Once I stopped eating animals, I did it because of not moral reasons. I did it because of toxicity. I found out as a parasitologist, person studying parasites, this is where all these parasites, a lot of them live in the flesh, especially ones that have been vaccinated, especially ones that have been fed hormones and antibiotics. You've always heard if you take antibiotics, then you're going to destroy your gut wall flora. Well, what happens when you're eating meat and all these different types of GMO crops, okay, that have opiates spliced inside them? Wheat / opiates. Google that one. Why are you hungry after you eat a piece of wheat, corn, or soy 2 hours later? Remember, there's a system here, and it's doing a good job on fattening us up. 100 million obese people is not a joke. 230 million people in the United States are 15 pounds plus overweight or toxic, or living to eat. They're living to eat. Remember, once you change your lifestyle to a supernatural lifestyle, supernatural just means it's above natural. It's got awareness to it. You have to become more aware of becoming more aware of becoming more aware. It just keeps going down the rabbit hole, and you keep opening up your mind to different layers that, just like in the 10th grade, 11th grade maybe doesn't make sense until you do the 10th grade. And then when you do 12th grade, well, it's only making sense because you went through the prior grades. So this is our evolution, is to grow and to evolve, not to destroy and you don't even know you're destroying, that's the best part, because people look at themselves and go, I'm not destroying anything. Yes, we are. All of us are. Okay? We're destroying almost every day. Why? Because we don't put back what we take. We take and take and take and take and take some more. Are you putting back at all? This is one of my first years that I've felt like I've really put back into the system. Okay, we grew about 60,000 pounds of organic lychees at our farm in Hawaii. Those went out to people to eat. I'm producing foods instead of just eating it. We've, really done a lot of growing at the house now, and now I don't go to the farmer's market and buy food anymore. I haven't been for 4 months. Why? Because I'm growing it myself. And it's the best thing I ever did. Best thing I ever did a long time ago, 15 years ago, was stop eating flesh. The next best thing I did was to be able to really dig deep and get out my heavy metals, get out my contaminants, stop them from coming in from wherever they're coming in. Doesn't matter if it's coming in from your shower or your pots and pans. That's why we have Earth Shift again, is because, where are you going to upgrade and how are you going to upgrade? And, oh, you really know how to too? You can sift through all the thousands of products that there is on the internet and see if you can be a good researcher. Or what we've done for you at Earthshift is we have done a lot of the consumer reports, and these are essential tools for a lot of different layers of people that are transitioning up to a healthier lifestyle, transitioning up to a more conscious lifestyle. Okay, transitioning up to having the courage to be able to see a lot of the truth that is around us everywhere right now, from the documentaries that are put out. There's hundreds every year that are put out. Instead of watching Three's Company or Big Bang Theory, you may get a couple of laughs out of that. Spend time and really start to research a worldly view and look and see what's going on, and look and see, is this schism fixable? Well, it's not unless we fix our own schism, unless we fix our own self, unless we really upgrade everything that we do to a higher form of fuel. The fuel that we put in our cars, we put in our bodies, okay, gives us the ability to be able to have the car or the body be able to either run optimally or not. And if you put in crummy fuel in your car, you know what it does. It builds up because it doesn't burn completely. And when you get buildup, you need a tune-up. And that's what exactly happens to the human body. Once you start putting in the wrong types of fuels in your body doesn't burn at all. And the only thing it can do is to grab parasites that'll help you break down this food. Remember, they're helping you. It's not because you're cursed. If you have body fat, it's because you're a sugar monster. Okay? Look at all the vegans and the vegetarians. I don't get it sometimes. We stop eating meat and we start eating more processed foods. We become a vegetarian only because sometimes it's not because of morals, it's because your doctor told you to. It's because maybe it's, the new thing to do. It's not because of morals. When you're vegan, it's more moral. It's a more moral-based lifestyle. You don't want to eat anything that comes from suffering animals. Bravo. Who would want to? Okay? Personally, I don't call myself a vegetarian or a vegan or a fruitarian or anything. I call myself just a person who doesn't have any blood or flesh in my diet. Contamination. Keep it down to the lowest level I can. And eating live foods that are highly mineralized. And again, this is why we have Earthshift. Maca, chlorella, spirulina, blue-green algae, hibiscus flower, psyllium powder, activated charcoal, fulvic acid, magnesium. Okay, these are all things that are very essential if you want to regain back your health. And like I said, you don't have to buy them from us. They're all wholesale, and we don't dilute anything. Everybody dilutes these products, and that's a disservice to people thinking that oh, it's fulvic acid, I'm going to take it. Well, that's a disservice to find out that it's a pH of 5. Okay, and you're buying water, just like the silica most people are buying. Our silica is 3.75 times stronger than all the others. Why? Because everybody dilutes them. Our magnesium is pure 31% brine magnesium chloride. Okay, everybody else dilutes it down to 15-20%. So, you know, trusting somebody that's going to sort of help you and guide you up to a certain layer that makes sense is what you really need to do. Again, we've got a lot of very profound and good information on Earther Academy. You know, there's so much to say, and I really don't want to keep this video any longer. It's 26 minutes right now, but remember, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, there are things for you to do to upgrade, enhance, and optimize your lives and also everything around you. There are ways for you to feel more fulfilled within your purpose. And part of your purpose, remember, is to eat to live and get away from the theme of what you now know is probably your lifestyle is living to eat. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and a little before bedtime snack. Get up in the middle of the night, even eat some more. Who's calling you to feed? Like a person smoking cigarettes, okay? At first, you're high as a kite. And you're going, why are these things even legal? Whoa, okay? And after a week or two, your body now starts to process the nicotine, and the nicotine now is being processed by microbes that your body have pleomorphically actually changed to be able to break down this fuel. And so now, you don't even get high anymore when you smoke, do you? No. So what are you doing now when you get the urge to smoke? Is that the addiction? Is that the behind-the-scenes parasite that wants you to feed them? And once you feed them sugar, alcohol, tobacco, anything, any food, then what happens to you? They'll let you go back to your life. So once you remove a lot of these parasitic creatures that are living within your energy field, you'll be more of yourself than you ever have been yourself. If that makes sense to you, well, then we've got something to say. And also, you've got some homework to do. And you've got some practicing to do. You do. None of this comes easy. It's not easy. It does take effort. It does take discipline. It does take time to relearn everything just about what we've been told is the absolute. So if you follow others in this movement, most likely you may get some good pointers and tips until you get up to another layer that actually maybe you want to start teaching and helping people that are bamboozled by the system. Bamboozled. Here, let me give you a vaccine. Let me put some mercury fillings in your mouth. Oh yeah, it's really good to put fluoride in your toothpaste and underarm deodorant with aluminum in it. I think that stuff's all great if you want to get sick. We look at the world sometimes as we start to become more aware. We just look at it as becoming more bizarre as time goes by. As we start to become more aware, we start to see what a bunch of maroons we all have been to let this get to where it's at. One last thing before I sign off here. Remember Albert Einstein, his little saying, if you want to change the world, you have to change the consciousness and the awareness that let it get this way. So this is what this is about. Okay? Change your world. Upgrade yourself. Optimize yourself. Enhance yourself. And how are you going to do it? Well, study. Learn the Earther Academy principles. Come up to our Earther Academy Retreat Center in Hawaii. We only do small groups of about 7, 8 maximum. Learn how to cut down your food intake and go towards more of a ketogenic, intermittent fasting lifestyle like I do. We go over this a lot in Earther Academy. The information's not as organized as I'd like, but it's got over 200 videos there, and if you watch them and really, really watch them, there's a lot of good golden nuggets in there for you to jump up 2 or 3 or 4 grades wherever you're at, even if you're advanced. I see a lot of people that are even physicians, doctors, health coaches, all these different things, and they still have mercury fillings in their mouth. They're still using underarm deodorant. Why? Because they're still eating onions, garlic, and white onions, green onions, and garlic. Those things will make you smell. Learn how to become a researcher and experiment with everything. Remember, life's an experiment. Life is researching. We're searching and we're researching over and over again until we optimize, enhance, or upgrade ourselves. Upgrading yourself first is going to give you sanity, which will be able to make you sort of see a little more insanity. It's a little crazy. The more sane you get, the more insanity you will see. What a paradox, huh? And the more insanity that you have, more toxicity, the more body fat, parasites, and everything, the less insanity that you will see. And you will see the system for what it is. It's just what it is. But once you become more aware, once you change your frequency to a higher layer, then yes, you will now see, feel, hear, and touch the insanity. Because now it's everywhere. When you change your world, change your frequency, change your toxicity level, change the vampires we call parasites that actually just steal your energy. And remember, they eat inside our bodies because it's a house. And what does every living creature do? And yes, they are living. Yes, they are very manipulating and mind controlling. And yes, they poop inside our bodies every day. So be aware of that. Okay, we'll see you next time. And it's off to work out at the gym right now. Saturday morning in beautiful Hilo. And I can tell you this, I love where I've moved because this new terrain here fits my consciousness so well. I love the rain, I love the water, I love nature. I love to see green all the time. Okay? You will in time, as you change your frequency, you will have to change most likely where you live, maybe even your relationships, or maybe change the way you act within your relationships. Or you'll just basically cut them loose, like many I have. The more functional you become, the less dysfunction that you really want to coalesce with. Doesn't mean you don't want to help dysfunction, but it means that you don't want to socialize with it. I love my private time. I love to spend time with my animals, and I really love to spend time in my garden every night. I love it. It's the best thing I've ever done, to be able to give me a sense of purpose, putting more into the system than I'm taking out. That's a good feeling. Okay, aloha, and we'll see you next time.
Important reminder: all information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift Products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, all persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earth Shift Live radio talk show or therein.